It's been officially announced that the U.S. supply chain will continue to struggle for years to come. But there are a few things you can do now in order to avoid the dreaded shortage and slow down. Retailers are facing a lot of difficulties lately, despite the apparent easing of the health crisis. Experts say that this isn't improving at all. If a supply shortage materializes in 2021 and the United States isn't ready for it, shortages could occur, devastating retailers that depend on goods from overseas. In the next video, we'll cover a bunch of topics about the second half of this year, but for now, please give us your support by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel to keep up with the latest trends. It could take a while to get some of your products on the shelf. For instance, according to supply chain analysts at RBC, there are roughly 4 million containers stuck outside of ports worldwide. When ships are scarce, the cost of shipping goes up. This gets passed to the consumer, increasing the price of goods and products. The analyst also noted that supply chains worsen when shipping is an issue. Turnaround time delays, known as TOT, are continuing to rise and are causing more ships to get stuck in queues outside of U.S. ports due to the increased workload. Around 15% of ships are arriving on time. A company revealed that at least 300 container ships are about to arrive in the US from Shanghai. They estimate these vessels will be waiting for 111 days, which is a huge increase from the usual 6 to 8 day waiting time. Shipping has been a problem for some time, but now it's become so widespread that it affects the entire world. Michael Tran, BC's head of digital intelligence strategies, said in the report, "The plethora of problems is having a domino-like negative compounding effect across various markets. Within the past year, the cost of maritime containers has increased tenfold, jumping from $3,000 to $30,000. The price hikes are happening as a result of 2/3 of all shipping containers coming from China and Europe being at a 3-year low due to interruptions such as labor disputes and congestion." Josh Afterin, director of Plug and Play Tech Center at Rogers RBC, pointed out that the Russian aggression on Ukraine has prompted insurance companies to raise the cost of protection coverage for ships in the Black Sea. The fuel supplies also fell to their lowest level and the rates reached an all-time high. Highs are obviously passing higher costs to customers, as reported by Morgan Stanley. Analysts predict that container prices in the spot market could reach up to $47,000. This summer, the trucking industry is facing labor shortages due to a rise in driver shortages, and with that, costs will increase and delays will become more common. One expert predicts that this shortage will persist for the foreseeable future without intervention. More than ever before, there are many choke points throughout the system, and it will take a while to fix them. While the flow of vessels and containers will eventually start to ease, we can't expect this to happen anytime soon. Tim Short is the CEO of global freight forwarder DHL. The global recession will make it hard for us to transition back to times of excess capacity. It is unlikely that we'll be able to find us infrastructure as it is today because the conditions are unfavorable. Because infrastructure development takes a long time. Chief Reshuffling said. On a similar note, logistics experts, like Nicholas Volleys, explained that even if there was a best-case scenario with the Ukraine crisis, there would be no more lockdowns. But we're seeing more and more companies reconsider where things stand. A new survey revealed that about 88% of firms expect sweeping changes in the coming years. According to FreightWave CEO Craig Fuller, supply chain issues could cause a disruption in the freight industry. The bullwhip effect is a term used in supply chain circles to describe a scenario in which temporary surges in retail demand are magnified and exaggerated by upstream manufacturers and suppliers who rapidly increase production well beyond the level that is actually needed. Retailers with too much inventory start out recognizing an opportunity but end up in a situation where they have taken on more wholesale goods than they can sell. Actually, while unemployment rates are up, consumer stress is at an all-time high. With prices spiking and markets crashing, many people are feeling increasingly insecure. Higher interest rates and the continuing economic slowdown are having a large impact on consumers. Consumer confidence is dropping steadily due to the uncertainty of supplies. This couldn't come at a worse time for consumers. The bullwhip effect has created a lot of overstocks and wrecked the global supply chain. It is a tough time we are living in with all these economic uncertainties. But on the bright side, 77% of our containers come from inside the U.S. Our latest research shows a gloomy picture of the retail sector. Goods have been accumulating with little interest in purchasing them. We predict weak demand in retail until inventory levels are at an normal state of maintenance. We've already seen a slowdown in production as the global imbalance between supply and demand continues to grow. The world's largest hubs of Los Angeles and Long Beach in Southern California are dealing with a record as retailers stock up on back-to-school and holiday goods. But as railroads and warehouses remain clogged, thousands of dock worker contracts across the West Coast have expired. The vacancy rate at Southern California facilities is now around 0.3% with a lack of availability, particularly acute in Inland Empire counties like Riverside and San Bernardino, and the Port of Los Angeles. Executive Director Gene Soroka reported recently during normal times, the vacancy rate was up to 15%. He said, "We can't build these facilities fast enough. And even though we have 2 billion square feet on the Pacific shores with an east-west span across Southern California, we need to move products faster and have the storage capacity to keep up with consumer and manufacturing demands." There's been a constant increase in containers being clogged up on the ground. As of yesterday, there were more than 28,000 rail container units on the ground. About 2/3 of them had been waiting to be picked up for 2 weeks or more. All of this means that the disruptions down the road are going to be far worse. But most people will find out before us. The majority of people think shortages are just a problem for other countries. But while America was still doing well in the past, we now find ourselves facing very similar issues. It's a problem that is only getting worse. We've dealt with shortages in recent months. And while we're still seeing some sporadic price surges, the drought doesn't seem to be getting any worse. The prices of common items have been rising over the past few months, and new deals are coming in every day. Faced with this challenge, many consumers buy more food from wholesalers and supermarkets for their groceries. So it's natural to notice that there has been a rise in the demand for cheap alternatives with each passing week. More and more consumers are choosing to avoid name brand products. And when they do buy products, they're only getting the essentials. This is according to June's BMO Real Financial Progress Index survey, which found that 42% of Americans said they were changing how they shop for groceries. However, things are not as simple as prices are up. Many energy companies aren't capable of providing enough energy. This has consequently led to higher prices for consumers. And the peak hurricane season is expected to have a dire impact on the electric grid, potentially causing power outages, which federal agencies are warning about. Power companies will be in trouble due to how quickly the weather could trigger rolling blackouts. They will also have a hard time sustaining supply as the equipment is becoming depleted. This could lead to many power companies never being able to fully rebuild natural gas infrastructure. As for power generators, natural gas burns an enormous amount of fuel. Following the shutdown of several coal plants in recent years and an extreme drought, hydroelectric plants are often unable to provide a steady supply. As a result, there is a major rush as millions of consumers go through their power sources. As an increasing number of people stockpile goods, others are emphasizing that this is just the beginning and prices will only go up. This phenomenon is likely to become more widespread in the coming months, even in some countries where some food products have been rationed. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to see similar videos, click on the video to the right. Or maybe this video to the left might be more interesting to you. I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care and remember, stay informed, stay prepared. Take care.